There's a lot of confusion among the judges. எது சயின்டிஃபிக்கு எது என்டர்டெயின்மெண்ட் அவங்களுக்கே தெரியல. முதல்ல ஜட்ஜஸை மாத்தினையா, ஜட்ஜஸ் சரியில்லை ஒன்றும். ராமகிருஷ்ணன் வந்து ஒன்று சயின்டிஃபிக்ங்கிறார், அருள் வந்து நோ தட் இஸ் என்டர்டெயின்மெண்ட் அப்படின்றான். அது சுஜாதா சொல்றா ஒண்ணுமே புரியலன்ட்டு. No. He is calculating. சித்தார்த்தன் மண்டையை போட்டு உடச்சிக்காதே, யாருக்கும் வேணும் கொடுத்துரு கபால்னு. வசூல் பார்த்துட்டு சொல்றாரு, வசூல் ராஜா. Okay, by the time we get the, let us get the audience poll. Yeah. How many of you will go with the first team? That is, which is the first team? E-Road Entertainers. Can I have a show of hands? E-Road Entertainers, first team. மறந்துட்டீங்களா? கொஞ்சம் வளர்னாங்களா அந்த டீம் தான். Number two, Coimbatore Challengers. How many of you? Yeah. Number 3, Chennai. Number 4, Madurai. என்ன பாது? இல்லை ஆளை செட்டப் பண்ணி வச்சுட்டானா ஸ்ரீராம. Number 4, Madurai. ரெண்டு கையும் தூக்குறீங்க நீங்க. சரி, பெஸ்ட் வீடியோ சொல்லுங்க பார்க்கலாம். யாரா ஒருத்தர்? கோயம்புத்தூரா யாரு? How many of you for Shreyas? Okay. வேற யாருமா வீடியோ பண்ணாங்க நல்ல வீடியோ? How many of you for கற்பகவல்லி? கற்பகவல்லி எல்லா சர்ஜரியும் ஒரே இல்லை காமிச்சிட்டாங்க.
மோகன் அடி வாங்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி நாங்கள் ஓடி போயிருக்கோம்.
Yes sir, announce. Ravishankar will announce.
Thank you so much. May I have the privilege of announcing the winners, runner-up and the other awards too.
Please wait a minute for 3 minutes. Online ah? Online marking. ரெண்டு பேரும் ரன்னர் அப். Okay, best entertainer for the audience. Any name? Maduraiya, யாரு? யார் பிளேயர் யாரு? நிஷாந்தா? Okay. அதுதானே இந்தா இங்கே அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணு அங்கே பண்ணுங்க.
Heart beats. The heart's not beating only for the people over the dais, even over there. Okay, I'll just tell the points of all the teams. And then, okay, I'll go this way. The runner-up of Tanco OPL is Madurai.
Sir, ready, sir?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll keep the best for the last. Now, the best scientific video runner-up. Best scientific video runner-up, Dr. Prasanna. Thank you. The best scientific video winner.
Any guesses?
The best scientific video, Dr. Shreyas Ramamurthy. And the best entertainer of Tanco OPL. Surprise to everybody. Definitely the Honorary Secretary of TNIA, Dr. Sriram Gopal. Thank you. And the best for the last, as I said, the winner of Tanco OPL, Coimbatore. The Coimbatore challengers, please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to thank Zivira. Thank you, Zivira, for the wonderful support given for Tanco OPL. Thanks a lot. You've been wonderful. You've been supporting this particular program always. Thanks a lot. We'll request all of you on the dais to stay back for a group photo, please.
Very good evening, friends. Just for your attention,
Yeah.
we have our one more star, our Natarajan sir. We have one more very inspiring talk by Natarajan sir. Just stay back for 10 minutes at least, and then we'll all leave for the spirited evening. The vehicles will not leave from now. It will not go till Dr. Natarajan sir finishes his talk. It is basically a motivational speech for all the youngsters. I can see all the youngsters here.
ஆமா.
Over to you, sir.
But where is the banquet?
Which one, sir?
இல்ல banquet எங்கண்ணா?
Banquet is only 10 minutes away. So,
Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you, Satyan. Anyhow, sorry, it's the late part of the day. So my talk is on dream it, be it. So I have actually divided the talk into Dr. Ramakrishna has listened already. Anyhow, so this is how I have decided my talk on clinical, academic, training, research, business, leadership, and philanthropic aspects of ophthalmology. So we are all a society, people of same matter, with each having immense potential. So with each child, the world begins to grow. And because we are the thinkers, researchers, healers, and with these capabilities, we choose our paths. So beginning the journey, one step must start each journey. And I love this movie, the Kung Fu Panda 2. Just like Po the Panda, I too had a humble beginning in the small temple town of Madurai where I was born. And this is my parents, and when I was a kid, and I wear tie from my childhood, and that's my grandparents. And this is my 3 generations of ophthalmologists, my grandfather and father. And I owe everything to my parents, my guru, my mitra, that is Shivanandan, and God. So these are my 4 elements. With their blessings, I am a eye doctor working with the aim of nothing less than excellence. So the motivation to youth is not just by preaching, neither by mentioning remarkable historic evolution, only nor by words of wisdom, but by sharing example of my own life, combining effect of these 3 to inspire the beautiful minds like yours. So let me take this wonderful opportunity to share my story. And a real warrior never quits. And there is no easy way to mastery, and that's what the Tigress learned. And it took Tigress 20 years to develop fists of steel, 20 years of practicing Kung Fu and punching iron trees. Mastery is all about developing healthy habits which will raise your chances of becoming successful, but that takes time and perseverance. And I use this extra time to develop a skill and perfect it, and no shortcuts and only practice. And Malcolm Gladwell in his book Blink has written that you need to practice 10,000 hours if you want to be like a Mozart, like in the music. And I'm very proud of my parents for molding me into this position. My father, Dr. N. Sundaram, and grandfather, Dr. S. Natarajan, were government servants, and my father, Dr. N. Sundaram, gave gift to me was education, and my mother extended all her love and support for my success. And I grew up in the eye hospital compound, and this is again a photograph with my parents and grandparents, again wearing tie. And I studied myself, my father and grandfather, and many of us have studied from this Regional Institute of Ophthalmology. And right from my schooling days, I wanted to be an ophthalmologist. And this is also, I'm wearing a tie from my childhood. And I used to work as a room boy for my father. And I also used to take my father's ophthalmoscope and examine the dog's eye and found how the retina was looking. It was a glittering retina. And I'm happy Dr. Srinivasan is here, Madhivanan is here, who are with me in Madras Medical College. And I hope my classmate Dr. Sivagami has reached here. And I was the captain of our football team and athletic team. And this was Dr. Lalita Kameshan was the dean, and Dr. Jnana Desikan was our DME, and we did this Olympic torch carrying. And my inspiration, and this I read when I was a kid, Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati. You become what you think. So don't think small of yourself. And I was inspired by this visionary VG Pandit Das, who believed that if you have a dream, make the dream your prayer and pray every night. So I prayed and woke up each morning of becoming an internationally renowned ophthalmologist from my childhood, and to turn that dream into reality. And that's what is my talk about. And this is what I paid the fees. I have the first year Madras Medical College fees paid on 7th August 1975, totally 204 plus 28, about 232 rupees. And I did my postgraduate in ophthalmology in Chennai, and I joined Dr. Badrinath. And my father bought me an Jaggi microscope to learn microsurgery, because I assisted Dr. Daljit Singh when he came and did the iris claw lens and steel sutures. So we call him chief, and the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, and the great teacher inspires, as William Arthur said. And clinical, I was a consultant in Shankaranathalaya, the youngest at that time in the world with the maximum experience in vitreoretinal surgery. In 1986, Dr. Badrinath invited Raja Jovanovich, the father of modern vitreoretinal surgery, to Madras, and then I visited him, and he visited me several times. He's the second guru for me, and he's a great revolutionary surgeon who actually both retired. He and Dr. Robert McNamara, who did the first vitrectomy, retired in 1996. This is my operation theatre with the anesthetist. And my constant inspiration was Swami Vivekananda: stand up, be bold, be strong, and take the whole responsibility on your own shoulders, and know that you are the creator of your own destiny. And in 1988, I was offered the position of head of vitreoretinal surgery, and there they were doing only almost a surgery a month before I joined, and I did about 100 vitreoretinal surgeries a month, about 1,500 surgeries in 15 months. But lack of instruments at the Bombay hospital made me go and start the Aditya Jyot. And I remember very well, Madhi asked me, how will you start a center in Bombay when you don't know Hindi, Marathi? Even now I don't know much, but I think language is not a barrier. And Dr. Badrinath inaugurated the Aditya Jyot Hospital in 1990, and it was on 15 July 1990. I used the word Aditya Jyot because Aditya means sun god, giving light to the world, and Jyot is lamp, removing ignorance. And this is Dr. Badrinath addressing in the inauguration. And so a patient is the most important visitor on our premises. That's what I learned from him. And he's not dependent. This is a Gandhiji statement on business. I converted it for the hospital. We are dependent on him or her. He or she is not an interruption in our work. He or she is the purpose of it. He or she is not an outsider in our hospital. He or she is a part of it. And we are not doing him or her a favor by serving him or her. And he or she is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. That's why I thank every patient, because for me, patient is God. So in 1990, Madhi has come, and Dr. Badrinath came before I started. How will you start an operation theatre in an old residential place, which I converted into a business place and got the license to start the vitreoretinal center, and I called it the Center for Retina Vitreous Surgery. So I dreamt of an eye hospital from childhood. I started in a rental center in this building in ground floor, first floor and second floor, and then in 2004 I had this hospital. So you can dream it and you can be it. And this is what the Ugwe to Po, Kung Fu Pandas in the movie, it says, you must believe your dream. So bring yourself out of the shell that confines you today. Be bold, be courageous to redefine your path, and never submit to unethical trends or what your conscience doesn't permit. Frustration began to creep in. After all, I believe that every patient had to be given the best, but due to limitation of facility and atmosphere at work, I was unable to deliver. So don't waste time calculating your chances of success and failure. Just fix your aim and begin. This is what Gwen in Zoo said. And if you only do what you can do, you'll never be more than who you are right now. This is what Master Shifu said. And if you see the last slide, one of my fellow doctor in 2014 made a cartoon out of this and called me Master Shifu. I didn't understand why he did, and I think that's because I was a strict disciplinarian in the hospital. And life's most urgent question is what you're doing for others. So best is to do charity, and that's what I started in Bombay. So as famously said by Bruce Lee, knowing is not enough, we must apply, and willing is not enough, we must do. So this is the philanthropic aspect. And then I invited Aishwarya Rai. So when I invited, everybody asked, will she come? She came, and she inaugurated our Aditya Jyot Eye Bank. And we had the Chief Minister of Maharashtra at that time, Sushil Kumar Shinde, inaugurating the new building. So whatever you wish, you will get, and that's why you should not doubt. And then I wanted Dr. Abdul Kalam when he was the president, because Dr. Badrinath introduced me, and he also visited Aditya Jyot. He met all the staff, and that was nice of him to visit just without any agenda. When I invited him, he came. And then he gave the name for the foundation. So I also started doing research, thanks to my friend here, Shivanandan, and that's Alagan MD, who inaugurated the genetic research lab. And now I am the Secretary General of Global Eye Genetics Consortium. Even though we don't have anything going on in gene therapy and genetic trials, I'm still hoping to get that to India. And I admire Albert Einstein, who said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So please remember the gift that is the intuitive mind. And the leadership. So as I mentioned, I'm happy that I've occupied all the posts in All India Ophthalmic Society, finally retired as the president of All India Ophthalmic Society. Now I am the ICO trustee, hope to become the president of ICO one day. And this is, I'm happy that I've done more than 60,000 vitreoretinal surgeries, trained more than 68 vitreoretinal surgeons across the globe, demonstrating live surgery all over. I'm going next month to Mexico to do live surgery. And I started the hospital, and I'm happy we are now associated with Agarwal's. So this is what, as Einstein said, in 2013 I was conferred with Padma Shri, and then I believe in the 6P, which is actually the 5 Ps are borrowed from Shamak Davar. He's a dance guy from Bombay, and he's got a company called S Dance Company, and he's a good friend, and he lives half the time in India and half the time in Canada, and he's a great dancer and a dance teacher, and he had this perseverance, perfection, patience, prayer, and persistence. And I added precision as a vitreoretinal surgeon, because we do surgery at 40 to 50 micron sensitivity and using 3D digital microscope. So this is what is my life. So follow this, and I think, and you also, and this is my friend here, Ron Yeo, who was the president of Asia Pacific Academy of Cataract Surgery. He always said, you're one of the best well-dressed ophthalmologists. And the reason is, smiling and standing tall up emphasizes positive thoughts you have. It'll reduce stress and improves self-esteem. I'm glad we have my friend Dr. Srinivasan here, who is a psychiatrist. Yesterday he gave a wonderful talk. And the problems of life are not really out there, they're all in here, in the mind. Everything is decided in and by the mind, and that's what Napoleon Bonaparte and Hitler did that. So what he did is, they won the war the night before, and the Russians did it, and unfortunately Hitler lost in the Russian war. So I recommend this every surgeon to buy this book. Robert Greene has written a book called The Concise Mastery, where he talks about mirror neurons, skill transfer, practice, and this wet lab and simulator is for ophthalmologists. And when it comes to mastering a skill, time is the magic ingredient. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not succeed is simply a matter of determination, but more of trust and faith. So the fear, this is what Swami Vivekananda said, fear is equal to death and courage is equal to strength. So faith is equal to strength. So he says, be bold. Those who are weak are weaker and strong are stronger. So you have to be a strong human being. And he said, instead of reading Bhagavad Gita, play football, develop your biceps, make your blood warm, and then read Bhagavad Gita. He said you will understand the mighty Krishna. And this was a historic publication of using the mobile phone, using offline AI. Thanks to Remedio and Medios, I don't have any financial interest. We published in JAMA Ophthalmology, very well written by invited commentary by Dr. Alvin Liu. And I had the guts to go and operate in Kashmir. And when there was a call from Borderless Worldless Foundation that they wanted the senior vitreoretinal surgeon to come, I went there. And I think no other surgeon came. I took Dr. Ken Shuk from Delhi, and my fellow who is a consultant now and in Fortis in Delhi, and Dr. Asgar, who is now in Uganda as a consultant in Agarwal's in there, and I took them. So this was the thing, and this was a plight of injury. And then when you go in the street, suddenly it will be empty like this, like a haunted city, and then you see suddenly the group of young people coming and throwing stones on the police, and the police have to fire the pellets and chase them away. And that's how thousands of pellet injuries happened. It was quoted by American Academy when the Robert Clive had when the black was killed in 2019 or 2020, and then there was a similar incident in Chile, and they used rubber bullets by the police, and we have the aluminum pellets. And I think we have saved many eyes. Many of them have got good vision. And this is a Jade magazine where my life history was covered, and I mentioned about how I was interested as a vitreoretinal surgeon, as an ophthalmologist from the child. And that's what I'm grateful to Dr. J. Abraham, who's the uncle of Dr. Chandran Abraham, who taught me parts of the eye, because I lived in the ophthalmic quarters from 1957 till 1969, 12 years in the compound, the same compound where Dr. Gulapari Rao's father lived, Dr. Venkateswamy lived, and my father, grandfather lived, and I myself on different era of time. And this is what, there are about 4 people from India in the Hall of Fame. First is late Dr. Venkateswamy for cataract, and then Dr. Gulapalli Rao in cornea. And in retina, we have the Retina Hall of Fame. There are 242 chartered inductees from the year 1851 when Helmholtz found the direct ophthalmoscope to examine retina, and to 2016. So 18th century to now, they have made a Retina Hall of Fame. And there are stalwarts like von Helmholtz, who was born in 1821, but in 1851 he found the direct ophthalmoscope. Jules Gonin, who found the retinal hole. Carl Stargardt, whose name Stargardt disease is there. And Arvar Garstein is the only ophthalmologist who got Nobel Prize in 1911. And he was in the committee of Nobel Prize, and he's the only guy who objected to Albert Einstein getting the Nobel Prize, saying that his theory of relativity is wrong. He could not prove it. Luckily, Einstein's second theory, the photoelectric effect, which was published in an ordinary journal in 1905, and then submitted to the Nobel Prize Committee in 1921. And because of this controversy, because all of them voted for Einstein to be given the Nobel Prize for theory of relativity, but this guy ophthalmologist objected. Nobody could disprove him. So because of this controversy, the 21 award was not given, and 1922 Einstein got the Nobel Prize. Both Einstein and Alvar Galstein did not have a lab. They all did it in the pencil, and they got Einstein got it in theoretical physics, and Alvar Galstein got it for optics, and they were all done it by the pencil. And you have the Custodes, who are another pioneer retina surgeon, Jovanovich, who introduced retinectomy, Charles Keepens, called the father of modern retinal detachment surgery, Linkoff, who pioneered cryopexy for retina, Robert McNamara, who did the first vitrectomy, Jerry Shields, Santosh Anna's mentor, Golem Payman, who has the maximum number of patents, John Scott, who did silicon oil without doing vitrectomy, who was actually, Dr. Jovanovich went and observed, and then did this, and then Lawrence Ennuzzi. There was an entire retina journal was dedicated to him, which was done about 4 years back. And Stanley Chang, who was a pioneer in perfluorocarbon liquid. Stephen Ryan, we know he written 5-volume book. Steve Charles, who has also done maximum number of vitreoretinal surgeries and practicing in Memphis even today. So all of them, I'm happy, myself and Dr. Badinta are the 2 Indians in the Retina Hall of Fame from 1851 to 2016. And this is another one which I want to spread, where I introduced as the President of All India Screening through Teleophthalmology to Prevent Diabetic Blindness program called Stop Blindness. And I gave the term Jyot Se Jolao, like our Prime Minister. So low-cost screening devices at primary eye care centers and physician clinics. This is what I remember Ajit Babu as president said, first you bring a preliminary study, then come to All India Ophthalmic. So I started these vision centers in various parts of Mumbai in the slums, and our own social workers go and do the blood test and also have the data. Now we are trying to get it in there. And this is what we introduced. I use the Forus camera thanks to K. Chandrasekhar. I use all cameras for screening, where we carry the fundus camera Forus in the bike like this, and then he takes it in a bumpy road where the van cannot go, he can carry it. And now I see a lot of things which we can put it in the pocket. Yesterday in the free paper session, Dr. John presented a 3D printed model of doing a diabetic retinopathy screening. Here he sets up this and then uses the Forus camera, which can small room, and we don't need optometrist, we don't need technician. He's a school dropout, and that's what I want to tell the UP, where they have a Romeo police. Instead of that, they can train people like this, take photographs. And these are all bulky cameras, but Dr. Ashish Sharma has made an adapter. So my dream for the Dream It Be It is, now I want to screen all the 77 million diabetics who are in India. And then we created a Guinness record for the same using 15 Remedio camera, and we screened 649 diabetics in 8 hours. So this is how we have a pre-camp awareness, assembly of diabetics, capturing the image, and diagnosis can be made by ophthalmologists, AI, offline or online, image graders, and we have several cameras. I don't have any financial interest. And I also want to quote Mahakavi Bharati, and my best friend Shivanandan is here, and then the former director of CBI director is there, Mr. Karthikeyan. This is outside the KEM hospital and cancer hospital. All over Mumbai, we have a NGO called Roti Bank. So when you have a mind, you will be able to do. Shivanandan has collected more than, I think, a few crores, and we can daily give 11,000 people free meals. So Mahakavi Bharati, our national poet, said, even if one person goes hungry, I think the whole world should be destroyed. And I think that's what Shivanandan's motivation, and he does it. And we are doing an impact study now. So this is again a repetition to say, smiling and standing tall up emphasizes positive thoughts you have. So everybody should have positive thoughts. And creativity, this is actually a photograph taken when Albert Einstein went to receive the Nobel Prize. Creativity exists as one of the most important human resources. It permits us to look past what exists and discover new ways of thinking. Oftentimes, the limit of knowledge is nothing more than our collective inability to observe the world and ideas in a new way. Albert Einstein, for example, needed to see beyond the Newtonian understanding of the universe to rewrite the concepts of physics. Nobel laureates frequently display enormous amounts of creativity and open-mindedness. And that's why my dream is to one day get into that Nobel Prize for medicine. Years of persistence, years of dedication, work with passion, and even failure or stepping stone usually predate success. And only those with enormous amounts of persistence can work past these obstacles. From Daniel Kahneman to Malala Yousafzai, Nobel laureates persist when others give up. And multidisciplinary expertise. And the backgrounds of most laureates in medicine are multidisciplinary. Medical breakthrough innovations display a rigorous multidisciplinary trend. The unique characteristics indicate the importance of multidisciplinary education in medicine. So I work with the Vivekananda Engineering College on AI, which is in Chembur, and I also work with the Wellinker V School, that's a management school, and also the Khalsa College, which has a national facility for biotechnology, which is the Government of India funded project. They are doing their 10th anniversary today in Bombay. And we have junior scientists employed there. They are working. I hope one day we'll do something. Now, as Martin Luther King said, the recipient of the Nobel Prize needs to have vision in order to drive their project forward for the right reasons. So that's the vision I have for India, that we should remove the word blind. So I have registered a Section 8 company called Sundaram Natarajan Blind Free India Foundation, which is being registered in the Ministry of Company Affairs, and want to remove blindness from the... So the reason is, everybody thinks, how can we remove? When the Vision 2020 concept was made in year 1980s, they said by vision year 2020, we'll have everybody right eye and left eye individually will have 20 by 20. Did it happen? No. But the aim was good, and because of that, International Agency for Prevention of Blindness and many NGOs in the world, ICO and all the national societies are working for it, and that's why the cataract surgery rate, they call CSR, is increasing, and our Ramakrishnan president spoke about it, and I think Dr. Venkatasamy also took that vision of needless blindness should be treated, and that's why he said, so the Nobel laureate needs to be able to envision not only how the world will benefit from their project for years to come. So this was a book gifted by Dr. Abdul Kalam to me, and he said, read Medicine and Compassion by the first Dalai Lama, Choki Nyingma Rinpoche, and Dr. David Schlemm. He's an MD doctor, and he said, and if you read Compassion in the dictionary, it's about 2 pages, it's there. But if you read Compassion in this book, the whole book is on that. It's a Tibetan Lama's guidance for caregivers. And we are all caregivers, and I think convert most of them as an health caregivers. That means my project of screening, that means screen, diagnose and treat. Because in cancer, if you screen and diagnose and don't treat, you are, by IPC you can be arrested. But in diabetes it's not there. And a lot of people do not know that if you are a diabetic, you may go blind. So we have to increase the fear in the people, but idea is to protect them and instill fear to make sure they are doing well. And this Compassion and Medicine book is amazing. So I practice that daily, and I put myself in the patient's shoes. So when a patient comes, I actually call myself Dr. Srinivasan Idiyar. Most of my vitreoretinal talks I end by telling I'm a vitreoretinal psychiatrist, because half the time I have to talk more than operating, because the patient may get half meter, 1 meter, and in the 80s, Dr. Gulapalli Rao used to tell, you retina guys are carrying the vision chart. That means, can you see like that? So now we give 6/6 vision, and now we want to make blindness to go away by doing gene therapy, retinal stem cell therapy, and artificial retina. Today also, Santosh Anwar said, you have to do it. I said, yes, I will do it. So I think one day we'll do it. And again, my constant inspiration from Vivekananda, they alone live who live for others. The second line, somehow Dr. Baburajan said he doesn't like it. Even Thiruvalluvar said that they alone live who live for others, rest are equivalent to dead corpse walking. He says, if you are only working for yourself and your family, you are not fit to live. So whoever is working for themselves, all right, for some time you can work for. I also started my career in 1984 only for name, fame and money. But later, slowly, I evolved, and I think now I work, and I know whatever I get or not get, I do for, because I earn for myself. Now I keep giving. So when you know the fun and joy of giving, you will enjoy more. Thanks to my alma mater, we have the first museum in ophthalmology. That's the Elite School of Ophthalmology in Madras, which I want to glorify. I did that as a president in 2019 in Indore, and the hospital is 200 years. And I think we have to do something more. We have to bring a stamp. We also have to bring first day cover and make sure the American Academy has got a beautiful museum. I'm a part of the American Academy of Ophthalmology museum called the Truls and Marmer Museum. 2 great ophthalmologists. I was there when the gala dinner in American Academy. I didn't realize I was sitting with Marmer. He's a retinal surgeon, emeritus professor in Stanford. He had given $6 million to American Academy. And Dr. I think he's still, both of them are there, or Marmer is the one, Trulson. He gave $6 million to American Academy for the, so it's called the Truls and Marmer Museum of Ophthalmology in San Francisco, and they made it public, and it's beautiful. They have an app, and you can download it and see. One day I want our museum in Madras to be done. My friend Steve Borgia has done the police museum in Madras. If nobody has seen that, please visit in the Pantheon Road in our Commander-in-Chief Road. No, I think it's our police commissioner. I forgot the name of the road in Egmore. The museum is there, and it's fantastic. I hope one day we'll have the Eye Hospital Museum to known to the public. So we should celebrate, and we should be proud. And this is what Isaac Newton and Charteris told, that we have to use all these giants. One day, giants like Dr. Venkateswamy will become dwarf, and people like RDR or Dr. Ramakrishnan standing on their shoulder, and they will see the world or ophthalmology further. And that's what Charteris told in 12th century, and then Newton later, and Dr. Einstein said beyond that. So I think he was a theoretical physicist. That means there was no proof. So I have now, as I said, I am also collaborating with the Institute of Chemical Technology, where Mukesh Ambani studied. Fortunately, all these are in 1 kilometer radius with my hospital. And so what can we do to make a difference? This is from again the movie Kung Fu Panda 2. We have the power to choose how we are going to react to our predicament. Yesterday, Dr. Srinivasan explained how to avoid anger. This is an opportunity to reflect, learn, and grow to a better version of ourselves. So everybody can, you get all the latest cars, latest mobiles of better version. And one day the mobile was like a brick, like the Nokia, the big one, and like a big brick I used to call. And so I think the better versions have come. And Steve Jobs said, I want everything in this one machine. That means entertainment, office, and all the computer things in one small thing. And you can know how a mobile can compute now. And let's explore some valuable lessons which our friends from the movie Kung Fu Panda have taught us, while comparing the same with some lessons from my own life. And I'm also now writing about the Life of Pi movie. This movie is about the Po the panda, the fun-loving, happy, adopted son of a duck who owns a small noodle shop. So it was like fun-loving, and even today I'm fun-loving. Po dreams of achieving great feats in Kung Fu and being a part of the Furious Five, the best Kung Fu team in China. And if you want a different result, stop doing whatever you're doing right now. So whatever I learned in vitreoretinal surgery using 20 gauge, and I've done sometimes with the indirect ophthalmoscope, and now we have gone to sutureless surgery. So whatever I learned, we are not doing now. And dare to be different, and dare to go out of the box. And that's why I was wearing tie right from the college days. It was a problem, because you are prominent, you can't do mischief. But I think with the tie I was playing mischief. And you do not have to follow the crowd. So you have to stand out. And if you do what most people do, you will get what most people get. So if you want to get something unique, you have to do unique. Hence, think outside the box and be different. And lead the way. And this is the lesson number 4. Your mind is like water. And this was the secret of that movie. The last scene is that when it is agitated, when the water is agitated, it becomes difficult to see, because he goes to the top of something like the ceiling and then sees down, and he says, where is the secret ingredient for becoming a warrior, dragon warrior? He says, you go up, and finally he says, there's no secret. Same thing the father will tell, I don't have any secret of making this noodle so tasty. He says, this is what he says, you have a clear mind, but if you allow it to settle the water, the answer becomes clearer to you. The lesson number 5, to make something special, you just have to believe it's so special. And you need to believe that you are so special that you will be able to tap into your full potential. And the most difficult but most important person you need to convince is you, and that's your abilities, is yourself. And there's no secret formula or ingredient. That's what the movie says. You can see that Mr. Pink finally says, there's no secret ingredient, and which you must learn for success. It has always been you, and it resides within yourself. So many people ask in the last few months all over the world, and what is your secret? How do you look young? Where do you get your energy? I keep joking, but there's a serious thing because I also don't know what is the secret ingredient. So the lesson number 6, you must let go of the illusion of control, because you control your own mind, and somebody will say you cannot do, and you are ruled by that. And lesson number 7, get ready to dance with danger. That's why I think you should dance. And this is like yesterday's history, tomorrow's mystery, nobody knows, and present is the gift of God. Enjoy. And in order to become the successful person you want to, you must learn to level up yourself through the hardships that are there to be test you. Understand that failure, rejection, setbacks and challenges will come. If that is not there, there is no life. And you can't enjoy the shadow unless you go in the sun. And learn to dance with your problems and not run away from them. Learn from your mistakes and failures. And this is what Einstein said. You can make a mistake, but kindly make a new mistake. He says if you make the same mistake, you are an idiot. So never give up and keep moving forward. Lesson number 8. Your real strength comes from being the best you can be. Who are you? What are you good at? And what makes you, you? And your strength comes from you doing your best. In life, you can only produce a remarkable result when you become you and do your best. You must first find out what you want to be and what you are good at. And this is what Dr. Badrinath found in me. I didn't know I was a good vitreoretinal surgeon. In the first month, he allowed me to do vitreoretinal surgery. And he told me, when you are with me, learn what I'm doing. But you can decide what you want to do is the best. Or whether you want to do implant surgery or explant surgery in retina, silicone oil. He used to tell his mentor hated, that is Charles Keepan hated silicone oil. And he said, we only remove oil. We don't use silicone oil as a treatment. But now I learned from Jovanovich and also Dr. Anatomy from Japan when they came in 86, how to use silicone oil and do an advanced vitreoretinal surgery. And if you want to be an expert and a master, first understand your greatest strengths and do what you do best. This is how successful people create extraordinary results from an ordinary life. And lesson number 9, you are the master of your destiny. Same thing Swami Vivekananda said, and even Thiruvalur said, the creator of your destiny is yourself. Your own self you can create. And no one and nothing can come between you and your destiny except you take destiny by the horns and have fun. And that's what I'm doing. And Swami Vivekananda said, stand up, be bold, be strong, take the whole responsibility on your own shoulder. That's what I have taken the responsibility. Dr. Venkatasamy took the responsibility that he is going to remove the needless blindness, and that's how we created the Aravind Eye Care system. And know that you are the creator of your own destiny. So I have decided to remove blindness from India. I know many people may laugh and may they say something, but it's all right. And this is what Paul Coelho said in his book Alchemist. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. And this is the same words are there in the Om Shanti Om, even though the movie is into two parts of birth and rebirth. But he says the same in Hindi, and that's what you want, you will get. And final lesson number 10, embrace your awesomeness. Love yourself. And this is my daily routine, sound mind and a sound body, because I was an athlete, and even now I do exercise daily. I'm in the gym, and then this is the way I go to OPD, and I dress well, because I may look at the mirror for 1 or 2 minutes, but I want to look and dress to kill. And I have a designer now. The designer designs the clothes for me and Sachin Tendulkar. And this is for my OT. So even for OT, I have a designer clothes. I have various colors for different days. I have about 5 sets. And the final lesson is lesson number 11. Your story may not have such a happy beginning. Everybody is born ordinarily, but that does not make who you are. It is the rest of you, rest of it, who you choose to be. Whatever you choose, many times they'll ask me, how can you? And that question also has an answer. If you ask, how can you, then you'll never be. So this is what I did when my grandmother passed away. I went for counseling to her. She's a cognitive scientist and a PhD from IIT, Dr. Anamika Chavan. And she says, don't let your mind stop from achieving. She's half my age. And I learned from her. Why? Because I was my depression when my grandmother, whom I was attached, I thought I learned mental detachment after doing retinal detachment surgery, and that was ego. I didn't learn. I got so much attached with my grandmother because she was like my girlfriend, mother, grandmother, my mentor, everything. So when she died, I couldn't take it, and thanks to Siddharthan, he was just here. I came here for 5 days to spend my time to find how to cope up with the depression, because I couldn't, I think, understand or take the facts that she is no more. But this 90-hour session helped. It is expensive, but I think if you know you have a problem, no harm in going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, which I did. And I publicly say that there's nothing to be ashamed of it. And this is a diagram made by my friend, my fellow Rishi Bharadwaj in 2014. And I didn't understand why he made this cartoon with me as a master chief. I thought this was Kung Fu Panda. 2014, this movie, he told me, but I saw it only in the COVID and 2020. And after that, now when I travel in the flights, I see this movie again and again. And also I see the life of Pi. There's a lot of lessons to learn. Every movie I learn, but the Shifu is because I lose my temper and I'm a perfectionist at others' cost. That's what I learned from Dr. Srinivasan. You have to accept somebody cannot be like you. That's what I have to learn. So every day I learn, and thank you, my friends, and whoever are there, thank you very much, and thanks to John for making this live. Thank you, Satyan, for the opportunity. And Dr. Srinivasan, and you want to make some few comments, and we will close because I think we have to go for the entertainment.
It's a really amazing story, and as you rightly said, right from the first clinical year, you have always been wearing the tie, standing out, and you are the person who used to wish everybody on their birthday at the midnight, 12 o'clock, the first call that will come, you will remember. You had such an amazing memory and consistent effort. As you said, the consistency and belief. And as I was listening to all you said, I really wish you get the Nobel Prize one day. That's the wish from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
You will surely get it. That's my...
Thank you.
Sure.
Sivagami, you are there, I think, no? Yeah, why? You want to say something? Sivagami is my classmate. She is a pediatrician. So all of what Santosh, they have seen me from 1975. So they are 47 years friend. And you want to say something? She runs a big school in Tirupur with 3,000 students, correct? 2,000, huh? And she got the best school from British Council, something. She got an award. And Dr. Satyan knows, and
I only wish this speech had been timed a little earlier so that more people would have benefited from your speech. He's always been an inspiration to us, all of us. We keep in touch through our WhatsApp group, so we always know what he is doing at present. But even in the college days, he was always in the limelight and always inspiring. And like he said, his personal life is also is an inspiration. He has all these values which he lives by on an everyday basis. So I'm not at all surprised that he has reached to this level. And he's always attached, like you said, he always rings up on all our birthdays, he speaks to everyone, and whenever he is in that area, he visits all of us. And so he's always Nati, a favorite among all of us. I also like him. I also wish that you'll get your Nobel Prize one day.
thank you. But anyhow, I think now the goal, the Swami Chinmayananda, I don't know whether Dr. Srinivasan attended Swami Chinmayananda's lecture in 1977. He came to our seminar hall and he said, have the goal all the time shifted, aim sky high and not ceiling high. So that's the dream, and now I really follow the chapter 2, verse 47 of Bhagavad Gita. That is Karmanya Adhikari Ma Phaleshu Kadakshana. So do your duty and don't attach to the results. So I'm happy. So I think now, anyway, I always will be positive, we'll get, but I'll be the same Nati. Thank you, Satyan, for the opportunity. Thanks to Satyan for this.